Well, hello everybody. Good morning. I'd like to start today. Uh, don't forget to press the like, subscribe, etc., so that we can follow me, on the next episodes. And don't forget also comment so that I know, what direction to go and which direction we're going, whether you're liking the content or not, or whether you think I'm wrong or right or whatever. It creates for learning for everybody. Now, today I would like to um, present this. A Christian homeschooler who made parental rights a GOP rallying cry. Now, this article speaks about a millionaire who is the one that started this whole thing about parental rights, and in the bottom is school choice. Let's not forget school choice. All right. So um, I'd um, I'd like to kick this off a little bit by telling you guys that honestly, the politician who followed this guy is, or the politicians that follow this guy are crooked, are frauds, and they lie. At the very least, they exaggerate. Okay. Now let's go through this kind of one point at a time. Okay. Let me see if I got the right one here. There we go. All right. So we're gonna be talking about parental rights, and and let's not forget, we're also talking about school choice. Now, my question is, because see, these politicians, DeSantis and others across the states, I think Abbott, there's different, and they're all right-wing GOP politicians who decided to go ahead and take this up. Now, as far as parental rights, okay, I had my children in school from 1986, I believe that's more or less 86, 85, up to 2016, 17, I think 16, 15, something like that. Okay, and I never, ever had a problem in exercising my rights as a parent, saying, hey, I want my child to learn this, or I don't want my child to learn that. My son or my daughter would come home and say, well, they have me in a regular class. No, you're not. You're going to gifted. And I would go do the proper paperwork, do what was necessary, get into gifted. They're teaching me Spanish, and it's not helping me. Okay, well, I would look at the things how they were going on, and hey, he's not learning. He's not going to be learning Spanish in school. That's what he'll be learning at home, and that's exactly what happened. So as far as parental rights, I really don't understand why they would push this. Now I do understand that there's a lot of parents that don't know the rules necessary to follow to get the schools to do what they want with their kids. But parents have rights in the schools. They have always had rights. We have always had rights. All right? There's nothing in the school system that has ever taken the rights away from parents in public schools, especially in public schools. In private schools, it's different. Private schools, you have to march by whatever policies that school has, and you have no option. But in public schools, no. In public schools, parents have rights. Always had it. Not is not a today thing. Now, question is, who knows how to teach? Do parents know how to teach? Do you guys have a degree in education? I know I don't. I'm able to tell teacher that, hey, I don't want him learning this or this, and put everything. But I'm not going to go into school and teach my child because that's not my degree. That's not what I studied for. Now, do you know what your kid needs to learn in order to be successful in, let's say, from elementary to middle school, or from middle school to high school, or from high school to college? No, you don't. The schools do, and the teachers through the schools also do. That's why they have standards, things that the kids have to learn before they go on to the next stage, so they can be successful. Now, the problem that we have is not so much because, see, politicians, and I'm going to say the word corrupt politicians, like DeSantis and all of his people around him, Moms for Liberty and all of that, are corrupt. And you're going to see at the end of this video why, and you will more likely than not agree with me. I dare you not to. I mean, come on, follow me and see if the logic is not there. In schools, what we have is a need for classroom control. The teacher needs to be able to get 20 to 30 kids' attention in teaching them how to read, how to solve problems with numbers. Now, Ralph and Louie in the back think that Joey and Louise are kind of weird. They're different. And I think that we should make fun of them and maybe even push them every time we can, just because they're different. They may be gay, they may be trans, they may be whatever. But the reason why Ralph and Louie are going to bother them is not precisely because they have one title or another. They're different, and that's all they need. Now, can the teacher teach in an environment like that? No. So what does the teacher need to do? The teacher needs to have classroom control. So he tells Ralph and Louie, your behavior is unacceptable. You cannot be pushing, hitting, and harassing people because they are different. Louie and Joey could be gay, they could be autistic, they could be handicapped, they could be whatever. Those two do not have the right to harass them physically or verbally because they're different. And that needs to be stated so we have a quiet and orderly classroom where a teacher can teach. Okay? And those are just human behaviors, basic human behaviors. You cannot walk around the street and beat up on anybody that's different. Do we agree on that? Now, so far, we haven't gotten into any kind of sexual education or gender education. We're just behavioral. You cannot beat up on people or harass them because they're different. That's all. That's the very minimum. That's even better for them not to go to jail. Or any kid. If any kid thinks that he can go and beat up or harass people because they're different, that's one way to get in conflict with the police. We don't want that. We want kids to be able to behave civilly with other kids, and that's all that's being attempted in the classroom. So you say, hey, well, if that's all that's going on, how come my kid comes home and he tells me all these stories? Or I hear him talking on the phone with his friends about all these stories. And then they tell me, well, it's the teacher. They said it in the classroom. I'm going to tell you why. Because kids are the biggest liars. Now, you're going to say, you don't want to believe my kid. No. Let's follow the truth. Let's follow the facts. Kids, more often than not, overhear adult conversations, and those adult conversations are usually happen either at home or on the street. Why? Because teachers do not have adult conversations in front of kids. Okay? There might be one or two. I'm not going to say they're saints. But most of the adult conversations that children hear are in their home or in the street. The other place where they get information, and I know you're going to be surprised about this, is in the internet and in television, in the games. You know, the little games that they spend time playing and whatnot. Well, guess what? All of those games have little chat sessions where they can exchange information. And and these are the places where kids get their facts from. And then they exchange those facts with each other as if they were actually proven facts. Now, the problem is kids are generally afraid of their parents. Not in the, oh my God, he's gonna kill me, no. But they know that if they disappoint their parents, they're surprised. If they tell their parents, hey, well, I heard this, in the game that you bought me that I asked for, what's going to happen to that game? It's going to go away. Your kid is not stupid. So he's going to find somewhere else to tell you where he got this information. If he got this information from Lulu, his best friend, or her best friend, whatever, and he knows you're not going to like this information, he's not going to tell you it's Lulu. He's going to tell you what somebody, I heard on the street, I heard at school. Oh yeah, at school, I heard at school. Why? I'm going to tell you why. I've also heard parents. And there are a lot of parents out there whose opinion of the teacher is very low. Who is the kid going to throw under the bus? The lowest denominator that he finds in his power structure. Okay? So if he finds that one of the lower denominators is the teacher, guess who he's going to throw under the bus? Now, how do I know this? I worked in IT in the schools for many years. That's how I say, well, I'm able to know these things. I was kind of the fly in the wall, you know, that nobody really pays attention to, but I could see things now. As an IT, I'm not supposed to meddle in kids' affairs. But there's nothing that says that I can't use this information without any names to let you parents know exactly what's going on. The facts, not the fantasies that corrupt politicians throw at you in order to get you riled up, to light up your torches, to go and do something that they want you to do, but that is not factual. Okay? Again, I've seen kids in high school, middle school, claim that they saw a teacher or a counselor that was showing them naked pictures in the computer. Now, anything that you run through the computer leaves some kind of meta information that allows me later on to find out what was there. And I can do this because in the computers we have profiles separate. So I can tell who's been doing what. It's not my job. I don't really, unless I was asked to do it by, you know, administration, police, I never did. I did it only when I was specifically asked to do it. And there were at least 3 occasions in which I was asked to do it. There were 2 occasions in which I was asked to get the hard drive and send it downtown. Now, on 3 occasions that I was asked to search for this, there was nothing. Nothing. There was one computer that had an Amazon selling bras, brassieres, but there was nothing naked. Okay? The 2 that got sent downtown came back clean, nothing. So the the understanding is the kids either were lying or didn't know what they were looking at. I don't know. But I have seen kids lie, especially when they don't get their way. And if they think that the person that they're going to get in trouble is kind of not very powerful, they'll do it. They'll do it. Sadly, parents don't think so. Parents think that their kids are the most honest living organism in the universe. And that creates a problem. Because see, the kid is not telling you the truth of where he's getting or she's getting her information from. Okay? They will protect some and throw some under the bus independently of what the facts are. There's a lot of stories that I saw that I could start talking about in the schools where I was like, man, this kid is lying. He's got a straight face. You look at his face and you're like, I don't see detection of a lie, but I know he's lying because I have seen the facts. And parents were not able to understand the difference. So there were conflicts. And right now, the biggest conflict that we have is that politicians are using that naiveness, that I don't want to call it so much naiveness as the willing to nurture, to protect that parents have, that especially mothers with that Moms for Liberty baloney. It's not Moms for Liberty. It is rich people for their kids and throwing the kids of the regular people under the bus. That's what's happening. I'm going to tell you why. The last question is, who benefits from this? Who benefits from this scandal? I'm going to tell you who. I hope you won't be surprised. Okay? Because what happens is that you have public schools over here. Okay? Public schools. You have a bunch of them. Right? And these public schools have the ability to buy many items, okay, for a reduced price. Because they have so many. It's many items here, many items here, many items here. You know, I'm going to buy 1 million computers. Can you sell me each laptop for $50? They say, hey, you know what? My margin is 40, so at 50 I make $10 per computer. If you're going to buy 1 million, that means 1 million times 10, I'm going to make $10 million off of your buy. Yeah, sure, why not? You know? Now, here we have the private schools. We don't have so many, right? And we have few kids in each private school. Can they have this kind of buy? No, they can't. Okay, so what happens is parents here have to pay, let's say, $5,000 a year, plus other things, to, you know, chocolate sales, whatever else continues throughout the year for special things. So they end up paying something like $7,000 a year. And if they're religious schools, the parish also kicks in a little bit. So the rich parents say, yeah, you know, it's kind of not fair. I'm paying $5,000 to send my kid to private school. So they decide to send some of their kids to public schools. And in those public schools, they have certain control over what teachers their kids get, some benefits, but they don't have all the control. So I decide, you know what? Why don't we break this wall, right? And get these kids to come over here, right? Every kid that comes over here gets a, let's give it a $4,000 voucher. All right, we're going to reduce the, how do you call it, the price of admission or the price for the year for $4,000 because we're going to get a lot more kids. Now we're going to get a bunch of kids and we can afford $4,000 per kid. That'll be fine, right? And then I, the rich parent, is now paying $4,000. But guess what? The government is going to pay those $4,000. Now, some of the money from the public schools is going to get, because see, little Charlie wasn't getting his money from the public outlet. Now he's going to be getting money from the public outlet. So it looks like it's kind of fair, right? Everybody's getting a little bit of money and the private schools seem to be doing okay. So I don't see what the problem is. Well, I'll tell you what the problem is. See, in private schools, if your kid gets into fights, if he's late, if he talks back to the teacher, if he has any kind of non-acceptable behavior, he gets kicked out. Don't want you, don't need you, get out of here. This is a private school. You don't come here to do what you want. You pay money, but you come to our standards. When your parent decided to use this $4,000 to bring you over here, they agreed to our standards. If you don't meet our standards, you're out of here. Now, this is great. Kids that don't behave well are going to get out of here, right? The problem with this, and I've been in private schools, I've worked with private schools before, is that if Richie doesn't like Tony, and Tony happens to be the son of a wealthy, because see, in these private schools, you have wealthy people. You have people that are sons and cousins and nephews of basketball stars, baseball stars, governors, etc. Okay, but if Richie doesn't like Tony or Tony doesn't like Richie, and there's a fight, guess what? Your kid's not going to make it. Your kid's going to be, either he's going to have to be under Tony, bow to Tony, or he's going to get kicked out. That's the bottom line. There's no if and or buts about it. And you cannot hope and pray that I'm smoking pot and that I'm telling you things that are not true. I have no reason to lie to you. My kids are not in school. It's your kids and your kids' kids that are going to experience this. See, now you have a bunch of kids that left the schools. So now the schools, the public schools, cannot get laptops for $50. Okay? Now, that deal is gone. That deal now is going to the private schools. And when they decide that your children are non grata, we don't want them here, for whatever reason, because see, again, private school does not really need a reason. All they need is, hey, you know what, he was late one too many times. And they don't have to show evidence of being fair. Okay? So he gets kicked out. He was late too often. He yelled at the teacher too many times. I know a situation in which a parent went a couple of times and raised her voice to the teacher, and that parent was not allowed to talk to the teacher anymore. She could only go up to the principal if the principal had time and talk to the principal. She could not talk to the teacher anymore because the teacher felt offended. Okay? So, how could she find out what was going on in the classroom? Parental rights? No. State rights. You see, they lure your kid and his money into a private setting. And in that private setting, they determine what is going to be taught to your child and what is not. And meanwhile, over here, economically, public schools are going down. Why? They're not going to have enough money to pay good, talented teachers. They're not going to have money to sustain good quality supplies. So by the time, let's say in 2 or 3 years, you decide to go back to public schools, they're going to be worse than they are right now. And what are you going to have? Are you going to be able to demand? No, you won't be able to demand because by that time, guess what? The state has already determined, and they already started. We're going to teach about Black history, but we're going to teach it our way. We're going to teach about, because they are, believe me, when they come back, they're going to teach about sex the way they want to teach. Okay? And I'm not talking about the teachers. I'm talking about the government. I'm talking about the people that are taking control of the education system. The people that are claiming that they're going to destroy the education department. They want to take control of it. And it may not be a big thing to you. I don't care. It's about your kids. And about your kids' kids. Do you want them to have a good education? Or do you want them to be tradesmen? Now, some people have, in the past, told me that I am unfair because trade skills are also well paid. But I'm like, okay, well, find me how many carpenters are paid over $100,000 a year. Not many. Okay, because you really need to be skilled, really highly skilled, to be able to get paid over $100,000 a year. Okay? You want to be a mechanic. You have to have some of the high certifications. You don't make it, guess what? You're going to be making $40,000 to maybe $70,000, if that much. Remember, the range is from 40 to 80. So you could end up on either side. But if you get out with a degree, okay, chances are that you're going to start at around 60 to 70 start. All the way from 60 to 70 to maybe $100,000 start. And you're not going to have to be breaking your back. Now I understand we all have different children and we all have different, our children have different skills and situations. But sometimes our children have a lot of skill and they just need a good coach. And we're supposed to be that coach that sends them to the best educational path. See, you wonder, and I'm going to bring his name up, why didn't Trump send his kids to carpenter school? Why didn't Trump send his kids to mechanical school? Right? I mean, the best mechanical school, but still mechanical school, why not? Because he knew that, hey, if you need to learn how to make money, is not so much in the trade. Okay, if you have no option, if your child is not capable, and I mean, I wanted to play basketball, but I'm 5'4", and I cannot jump to touch the ceiling. So no matter how I wanted to be a basketball star, it wasn't going to happen to me. Okay, I wanted to be I an engineer, an electrical engineer, but I had a problem with calculus. So, hey, sometimes you're limited. That's fine. I still have my degree in business. I have my degree in IT. But understand that you want to get your kids to get a professional degree. Then if they want to get certifications, that's fine. That's on their own. Certifications will go ahead and validate what they already know. But you want to get your kids to college. Then after college, okay, whatever. But at least you validated, you made sure that if they had the skill, the ability, you got them there. Now, if they don't have the skill, the ability, well, some of us are born short. I get it, you know, but at least you tried, you know. And this is the part, like I said, these politicians to me are crooks, frauds, because they are disguising what they want to do is they want to move money from the public school system to the private school system so that the rich friends who are paying $5,000 or maybe $10,000 a year, I don't know how much they're paying right now. I know when my kid was in private school, we're paying $5,000 a year. As soon as I was able to, I sent them to public school because to me it was just a waste of time. Those $5,000 is not really, if you educate your child well, if you have a good relationship with your child, you don't need to have him in private school. Okay? Uh, but again, I don't like, and I think that it is a crime when politicians are trying to move money from one side to the other and claiming all sorts of lies that I know that are not happening. Okay? So, I mean, think what you will, but do think. Rationalize. Go to your school. If you have a child in school, go to that school and ask them, hey, can I spend 1 hour or a couple of hours in my son's classroom to see what's going on? Can I talk with the teacher? See what's going on. Educate yourselves into the reality that your child lives, and be more forthcoming to your child. Don't be so punishing as to understand that your child is also dealing with a lot of fear in this environment. And they need confidence. They need to be able to come out to you and say, hey, Dad, I feel different. Is that okay? Hey, Mom, I feel different. Is that okay? And not have themselves be considered like they're some kind of lepers. You know, that will go for a lot longer. You won't be able to, and maybe it's just a stage. But you will never know unless you have your child's trust. And you won't have your child's trust unless you make him feel confident that he can come to you with whatever. Because if he hears you talking about, those gays, we should kill them, he's not going to come to you. He's going to smile, he's going to walk, he's going to say, oh yeah, I don't know about those gays. But he won't be honest with you. And he won't be honest about where he got the knowledge. Be patient. It's a time of change. This is how we used to say, this is a brave new world. It's different. It's different for them too. But you as a parent, you have to be thinking and trying to be a coach for your child, not a judge for the people that also want to help him. The vast majority of people in school want to help children. So anyways, have a good day. Don't forget to press the like and subscribe and whatever, and I will see you on the next episode. Comment. Don't forget, comment please, so I know which way we